Hey guys, it's Hodgepodge here, and today we're going to review something interesting. I only got this recently, but I've seen little to no reviews of it online anywhere. So today we're going to review the CollectA box of mini prehistoric marine animals. Rolls right off the tongue. This is a set of 12 figures that comes in this box right here, and they are so unique in that they spread all across the animal kingdom, as well as across the Phanerozoic eon, which is basically the Paleozoic, Mesozoic and Cenozoic eras. And there is so much variety in here that I just love it and I couldn't not review it. So without any further ado, let's get on with the first figure here. I'm going to start with the marine reptiles. And first up we have the mini Temnodontosaurus. Now, I decided to start with the marine reptiles because 2 of the 12 figures in this set are smaller versions of already existing CollectA figures in a larger scale, and this is one of them. So overall, the colour scheme on this guy is pretty bland. It's just black or like a really dark greyish blue. But I think the sculpt has been done really nicely. You can see the teeth look a bit odd, and the eye does have the same problem that the adult has, where the scleral ring around it is visible when it wouldn't have been in life. It would have been covered in skin, and it differs from the adult in that it's not giving birth. But this could double as a nice baby, even though it does have adult proportions if you have the adult. So yeah, while the coloration is just black, I think it is technically accurate, and yeah, I think it's a pretty nice figure. Next up, we have probably the biggest figure in this set. This is the Pliosaurus, and this is the second figure that's been shrunk down. And it looks really nice. And like the Temnodontosaurus, this can act as a nice double, or as a nice baby if you have the larger figure. This was a pliosaur, as the name suggests, from the late Jurassic. And while this does look good, it does sadly have the same problems as the adult. Here you can see there's kind of some shrink wrapping here. We have this fenestrine skull, it's visible, and it wouldn't be in life. It does have a very nice colour scheme, this very pale green on the top and white underneath, which looks awesome. And the teeth have actually been done really nicely on the inside of the mouth. Painted very well. And the 4 flippers and the tail. And you can see very faintly that there's wrinkles going down the spine and on the flippers. So this one's really nice. And that's, from now on, these are all going to be brand new sculpts. And the last marine reptile in the set is the Arca Line. And I think this one's really good. The sculpt on it is really pleasing. I just find the colour scheme a bit odd. You can see it's in this very dark brown colour, and it's light underneath, but the flippers are painted black, so is the tail, and then the shell is in this very dark brown. You can just barely make out these black polka dots on it. I just think, when I think of Arca Line, I typically think of more of a green coloration. Maybe that's just because of its appearance in Sea Monsters with Nigel Marven, which is one of my favourite documentaries ever. Yeah, well, I find the colour scheme a little bit odd. It's definitely not off-putting, and I think the sculpt's really good. Now we move on to the fish, and we have everyone's favourite placoderm, Dunkleosteus, and I think this figure's pretty good. I just have a few gripes about it. First of all, the colour scheme is interesting. We've got light grey on the top, and this bright orange underneath. And I personally wouldn't have gone for these colours if I were making a Dunkleosteus, but I don't think it's a problem, and it definitely does make it stand out a bit on a shelf. Of course, as always with Dunkleosteus figures, the body, minus the head of course, is all speculative, and if I were to reconstruct a Dunkleosteus, I would have probably designed it like this, and this is very typical Dunkleosteus. And what I do find odd is that while the armour, the dermal armour on the head has been sculpted pretty correctly, the mouth is the odd part for me, in that, as we know, Dunkleosteus didn't have teeth It had those dental plates that were used to shear through the armour of other placoderm fish. Yet they've painted the dermal plates white, as if they were teeth, which I just find quite odd. The inside of the mouth's been painted pink, which is a nice touch. And also, I believe now the current accepted theory is that Dunkleosteus would have probably had lips covering this, so they probably wouldn't have had to be painted at all. But of course, this was discovered before. Well, this was made before their deluxe figure in 2018. This set was released in 2017. So if you were confused as to why this isn't based on a larger figure, that's why. But overall, I think it's a nice sculpt, and yeah, I think it's a pretty good one. Oh god, you're dusty. Ugh. There we go. Next up we have the lead Sixties, and look at this guy. We finally have a lead Sixties figure. I wish it was a bit bigger, but he's been done really well, and he's also huge in this set. Not as huge as he appeared in Sea Monsters. Oh yeah, Dunkleosteus from the Devonian period, of course. This guy's from the mid to late Jurassic. There's a type of ray-finned Perciform fish? No, not Perciform. Pachycormid fish, that's the family. And yeah, you can see the gill basket's been sculpted right there on the head. The head sculpt looks really nice. It's got its mouth wide open because it was believed to be a filter feeder. Colour scheme, it's got that nice counter shading, white underneath and then black pretty much on the top. You can see the wrinkles on the tail fin here. It doesn't have an anal fin, which is odd. It does have the pelvic fins and the pectoral fins though. And overall, yeah, I think this is a nice figure. Like, really well done. And of course, it's a lead Sixties figure. We never get these. So yeah, I think this is a pretty good one. And then next up, same kind of deal. It's a Zephactinus. Finally a Zephactinus figure. Another ray-finned fish. This one from the late Cretaceous. Lived in the western interior seaway. Sorry if you can hear my cat in the background, by the way. And look at the sculpt on this guy. The face is so detailed and accurate. They've got the two fangs at the top of the mouth. And while the colour scheme is a bit bland, it looks so much like how it appeared in Sea Monsters, and I love that. It also shows how accurate it was, even way back in 2003. And that's really impressive. And yet this figure, while the colour scheme's not that interesting, the sculpt has been so well done, and hopefully one day we'll get a bigger one. I think this is probably my second favourite figure in this set. Really happy with this one. And next up we move on to the invertebrates. This is the Trilobite Olenoides. This figure's a bit odd. I think the sculpt is pretty much spot on. The detail of all these ribs here. We've got the central spine here. We've got these, I can't remember what they're called. The chelicerae? Not chelicerae. These, not antennae. Oh, I look like an idiot right now. And while the colour scheme is just brown, on the underside it's like this fades into this white, but I find it so odd that they would put all the coloration on the part you don't see when you've got it normally sat on the table or wherever you decide to display it. But the sculpt, the head looks pretty spot on to me, and so does the body. It's a pretty standard trilobite shape, Olenoides. This guy's from the Cambrian period. And yeah, well, the colour application is a bit odd to me. I think the sculpt is really good. Now move on to the Cephalopods. And here we have Camarasaurus, a type of orthocone, and this is also the one that appeared in Sea Monsters, which I'm a fan of. And look at the detail on the shell. Don't know if you can hear that, but that's my finger rubbing against all the sculpted ridges on the shell. It's been excellently done. Even though it's just a dark brown, it's been so well sculpted. And then when we get to the tentacles, these have been really well done as well. You can see there's a siphon that it uses for propulsion. And I will say the colour scheme is a bit odd, in my opinion. Not bad at all. Definitely not bad at all. I just don't know if I would have gone for these colours. Personally, I probably would have gone for the more typical red reconstructions, as we typically see with orthocones. Maybe I'm just thinking of Sea Monsters again. Because I absolutely adore Sea Monsters, and honestly that's probably the main reason I got this set, because there were so many obscure species in this set that were also in Sea Monsters, and I just love that. And this is also the only figure I know of from the Ordovician and Silurian, and that is awesome. Now I move on to the Ammonites, and I thought I'd start off with the only non-heteromorph Ammonite in here. This is Parapa Scioscia from the late Cretaceous, and as you can see they've got a really nicely sculpted shell, that very signature standard Ammonite shell design, the lovely coil, and it's got a strong bumblebee coloration, and the tentacles have been done orange. The only thing I don't like about this figure are the eyes. They've given them the black pupil, this white iris kind of thing, and it looks a bit cartoony to me. I wish they would have just gone with the standard black pupil, but you can see the little beak in there. They've taken the time to sculpt, and they've got 2 arms there with the 6 tentacles. This one's really nice, very well sculpted. And next up we have a heteromorph Ammonite from the late Cretaceous. This is the Baculites. I think this is probably my least favourite figure in this set, because I feel like the colour application is just not quite on par with the other ones. See, the tentacles are orange, very long and outstretched, that's fine. Where my problem lies is with the shell. It's just, you can barely tell on the camera, as well as in person, that it's been cast in this orange colour as well, like almost identical to the... Sorry if you can hear my cat. It's been cast in this orange colour, it's almost identical to the tentacles, and they've tried to sculpt the ridges highlighted with this white, but you can barely see it, and it's not sculpted all the way around, which is such a shame. You can barely see the paint, and it's not sculpted all the way around. This is just the weakest one in the set. Not a bad figure, but definitely the weakest one. Next up we have Diploma Soros, which is another heteromorph Ammonite, and as you can tell, this is what I like to call the paperclip Ammonite, for obvious reasons. Now, sadly, this one has gotten a bit smushed in the box, and it's warped the shell quite a bit, but it's nothing some warm water won't sort. Interesting colours, yellow tentacles and then green shell, and again we've got these awesome sculpted ridges on the shell. Really, really well done. But the tentacles, in my opinion, are a bit lazily done. They're all sculpted into this one big chunk. I would have preferred it if they'd separate it out a bit. But it is also, at the same time, nice that we've got some variety. We've got some of them stretched out, with the ends poking out. We've got some of them fully stretched out, and then we've got this one. I just think I much prefer the way the other ones look. So I think this is also one of the weak ones in the set, but I think it's still a good figure. And when are we ever going to get a Diploma Soros figure ever again? Yeah, interesting colours as well, yellow and green. Yeah, I think it's a good figure. And last but not least, we have my favourite figure in the whole set, the Australosaurus. Look how striking the colours are on this guy. It's a heteromorph Ammonite from the early Cretaceous. Oh yeah, Diploma Soros is also from the late Cretaceous, as is Baculites. I can't remember if I said that. It's from the early Cretaceous, heteromorph Ammonite. Look at the colours on this guy. They've perfectly sculpted the shell, which is kind of like half coiled, half stretched out. And the tentacles have been fully stretched out, and they've taken the care to sculpt the beak white as well as the shell. And I don't think you can quite make it out in the camera, but they've sculpted little detailed ridges on the inside of the tentacles. And that is insane, just a plain black eye that I prefer. And the shell, this white shell with these gold highlights on the ridges, and it just looks amazing. And how it coils into this beautiful coil at the end here. Oh, it's just, I love this figure, definitely my favourite in this set. So that is the CollectA box of mini prehistoric marine animals. Really underrated set if you ask me. If you're interested in picking up a load of interesting species that you're not going to find anywhere else, which by the way, CollectA in my opinion are the masters of obscure species, pick this setup. It is definitely for you. And yeah, like I said, it just doesn't seem to be getting that much attention. And we finally have a Cephactinus and a Lead 60s figure, and that we've been waiting for them for so long, as well as an Orthocone and another great Trilobite figure. I got mine from everythingdinosaur.com, and yeah guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye bye.